on the humanitarian front.
Yeah.
I just want to repose this question, given your exchange just now with Daphne. I mean, it was a few days after the World Central Kitchen strike on April 1st that both the president and the secretary have said that a change in U.S. policy would come if Israel didn't improve the humanitarian aid front. So it's a month and a half later. Are there any consequences being thought about, considered by the administration, specifically in response to the humanitarian aid problem?
Well, Olivia, I think it's important to remember, and you were here when Ambassador Satterfield came to this briefing. Actually, I'm not sure you were here.
Not here.
You were not here. You were in Capri having a blast with the rest of the bullpen. When Ambassador Satterfield was here, he spoke about the progress that we did see in that time period when it came to sustained humanitarian assistance. There, of course, has been a bit of a regression, given in large part due to some of the kinetic activity that we've seen around Kerem Shalom, kinetic activity that we've seen around the Rafah border crossing, and that is understandable. But simultaneously, we continue to press and engage directly with the Egyptians, with the Israelis, that we need to do everything we can to turn these border crossings on so that more sustained humanitarian aid can get into Gaza. And should we not see sustained progress, the president and the secretary were quite clear, and that that statement continues to ring true.
Okay. I mean, just underscoring the fact that it was a month and a half ago. I understand there was some progress, but
there was progress. And again, it is because of largely because of kinetic activity from Hamas. In fact, we have seen some of these border crossings unfortunately close, and we are working around the clock with our partners in Israel, with our partners in Egypt, as it relates to the Rafah one especially, to do everything we can to turn those back on.
But there's no timeline or deadline that you're working with.
There was not a timeline or a deadline when we spoke about this at the beginning of April. This is a frank and direct. This is a frank and direct conversation that we'll continue to have with our partners in Israel, and we want to continue to see immediate and sustained flow. I obviously was able to provide some metrics here. We are seeing some positive steps in the right direction. The cooperation from a number of regional partners as it relates to the maritime corridor will, of course, be a positive step in the right direction. We want to continue to see more, and we intend to raise that if we don't.
Tangential but related, because the president and secretary also stressed the importance of establishing a better deconfliction mechanism.
Yeah.
So where do Israel's efforts on that stand, as you understand them?
So I spoke a little bit about this the other day. This is something we continue to need to see from our partners in Israel. It is critical that a cell is established to improve deconfliction, one that is reflective of enabling open and transparent communication channels between the IDF and other humanitarian partners, and that is something that we're going to continue to press them on.
So just to be crystal clear, a deconfliction cell within the IDF does not currently exist, because there are pictures of Jack Lew getting a tour of something.
There has been progress in some of those spaces, but we still need to see more, and I'm happy to see if we have a breakdown of what exists currently and what doesn't. And in fact, the IDF might be better suited to speak to efforts that they have in place versus not.
I have one more with your and the press corps' indulgence, just because the secretary said yesterday that it was imperative that Israel come up with a clear and credible plan for post-war Gaza. Obviously, you've seen comments from the prime minister. In response to those, do you have any indication that the current Israeli government, apart from the defense minister, is interested in crafting such a plan?
So whether there is an interest in crafting a plan or not, I will let it to our partners in Israel to speak to. What we know and what we feel ardently in the United States is that short of a plan that is reflective of a political process, that is reflective of a Gaza that is no longer under the control of Hamas and reunited under the Palestinian Authority, that is reflective of a Gaza that can no longer be used as a springboard for terrorism on the Israeli people, that we're going to continue to be caught in this endless cycle of violence. And so that is exactly why Secretary Blinken has continued to engage in direct diplomacy with partners in Israel, with partners in other parts of the world, to get us onto that process, to do everything possible to get us a ceasefire, so conditions can be created for further diplomacy to happen, to get us on a path to a two-state solution. Outside of that, we will continue to find ourselves in this endless cycle of violence. Of course, We need military pressure to defeat Hamas, but there also needs to be a political process that is reflective of the broader concerns here. Yeah.